Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If you are here, it means you are interested in the crochet tutorial. I made a post on YouTube and on Instagram and I asked if people were interested, if my subscribers and my followers were interested in learning how to crochet, and I got some comments. So I decided to make this first crochet tutorial on my channel. So this is what we'll be making in this video. Can you see that? This is the turban. This is the crochet turban and it is exactly what I have right here on my head. So guys, I would need your help. After watching this video, let me know if there's any parts of this tutorial that you need me to improve on, so that our next crochet tutorial will be way or much more better. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please click the subscribe button and click the bell so you get updates when I post new videos. So let's begin. So these are the tools that I will need. I need my wool for knitting. So this is local wool, and I have my knitting pins. This is 3mm and this is 5mm. Now, because this yarn is thin and is 3-ply, you can go ahead and use a 3mm hook, crochet hook for that. So I have 3mm. If I want to, crochet just a strand of this, I'll go ahead and use the 3mm. Or if I want to double the yarn and crochet like this, and crochet like this, with the two threads together, I would need like a 5mm hook or 6mm. So I'm going to be using two strands, crochet two strands at once for this tutorial, because I want the turban to come out looking thick. So I'll be using the 5mm hook. So I'm just going to keep this aside. Now when crocheting, you need to do a knot initially, and in order to do that, you can just go ahead and, can you see what I'm doing? Just go ahead and tie it like this. Can you see? This is what we have once you tie it like that. So I'm going to go over again. I'll just go ahead, take it like this, place this end here. I'll place it under this part. Can you see what I'm doing? Then I'll bring it right on top, put it inside like this. Can you see? And then we are creating our knot. So we're not going to tighten this. What we're going to do is get our hook now and insert it through that knot, and you can go ahead and tighten it like this. Can you see that? So this is what we have. This is what we are going to start with. Now we are going to be creating our chain first. When creating chains, what I do is wrap the wool. I'm going to wrap the wool around my finger, but I need to hold this end right here. I need to hold this end so it doesn't come undone. So I'll just wrap the wool around my finger like this. So I'll take my hook, place it under the wool, and then I'm going to pull it through the knot like this. Can you see that? Can you see what I'm doing? And that is the first chain. So we're going to be doing about 20 chains. So I'll go like this: 2, 3. Can you see what I'm doing? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18, 19, 20. So I usually go with about 20 chains if I'm making a turban headband. 20 chains will be measuring about 4 inches, a little less or a little more. You understand? So I'll just go ahead and measure that for you guys to see, and I have about 4 inches right here. Can you see that? From the edge. So it can be a little less, it can be a little more. If I'm using a single strand of this yarn, I'll definitely get less. If I'm using a thicker yarn, I'll definitely get more length. But doubling this 3-ply gives me 4 inches for 20 chains. So in order to climb over to the second row, after we've made our 20 chains, what I'm going to do is place the hook with this loop in the hook. I'm going to place the hook under the wool like this. Can you see that? And then what I'm going to do is insert it into the next hole, which is this bit here. I'm going to insert it into the next hole. So I'll just insert it like this and pull it like this. Can you see what I did? And I pulled it, and what I'm going to do is grab this wool like this. So I'm going to be doing a double crochet stitch for this turban that we are making. In order to do that double crochet stitch, what I'm going to do is grab this like this. I'll pull it through. Can you see now that I have 3 loops on my crochet hook? Can you see that? So what I'm going to do is grab this. So we have 1 here and we have 3 here. I'm going to pull it through 2 of the loops. So what I'm going to do is pull it through 2 of the loops. I've pulled it through the first one. I'm going to go ahead and pull it through the second one, and I'll be left with 2 loops. Then I grab this one, yarn over, and then pull it through these 2 loops like this, and I'm left with just 1. So once I'm left with 1, what I'm going to do is repeat the same process over again. Can you see? I'll grab this one, insert it into the next hole. Can you see? Insert it into the next hole, yarn over another like this. Can you see that? And then I'll grab this one. While I grab this one, you can see that we still have 3 loops here. So I'm going to pull it through 2 of the loops, and this is what we have. Then I'll go under, pull the wool, pull the yarn through this last 2 loops like this, and we have 1. So I'm going to continue this process. Grab my wool, place the hook into the next available hole. Can you see that? Then I'm going to yarn over this wool like this, pull it through. Can you see what I'm doing? Now I have 3 loops. Grab this one, pull it through the first 2 loops, leaving me with 2. I grab this like so, and then I pull it through the last 2 hoops, and this is what we have. So I'm just going to continue to do this till I get to the end. So I've gotten towards the end right here where we did our knots. So I've gotten to the end, but I am going to crochet on that knot so that it doesn't give me like a very funny edge at this point. So what I'm going to do now is grab my wool. Remember, we are doing the double crochet stitch, so I'm just going to grab my wool like this, my yarn. So I'll just use my smaller hook to create a hole so that my bigger hook can pass through. After opening it up, what I'm going to do is grab this, insert it through the hole like this. Can you see that? Then I'm going to yarn over this like so. Can you see? I'm going to yarn over it like so. Grab this one, pull it through 2 loops first, and then pull it through the last 2 like so. So can you see? This is what I have. Can you see this? So don't worry, this is going to straighten out itself. By the time I count this, I'll be having 19 stitches. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19. Can you see that? So for the rest of what I'm going to be making, because what I'm making is straight, I need to have 19 stitches all through. So it's good that you count as you are stitching up. If not, if you don't count and your stitches get shorter, your knits are going to look wonky. So you want to ensure that you count your stitches as you go up each row. Do you understand? So that what you're crocheting doesn't go out of shape. So what we are going to do next is to climb up the row. And in order to do that, I'm going to turn it like this. Can you see what I'm doing? So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to continue the double crochet stitch, and what I'm going to do is grab this. There are a lot of techniques that people use, but I'm going to be showing you what I do, and then my work actually comes out very neat. So what I'm going to do now is through the top stitch here, this stitch at the top right here, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see this stitch right here? What I'm going to do is insert it right into the first one. And then I'm going to yarn over. Can you see what I'm doing? Let me show you like this. So this is where I inserted it, this hole you can see at the top here. And then you still have, like, after the hole where I inserted it, you have another hole and then your initial chain stitch. So can you see that? And then I'm going to do my double crochet stitch. I'm just going to continue to do the double crochet stitch. So this end right here can be very, very tight, so you need to be patient and work your hook through the stitches like so. Can you see? You can work your hook through the loops like so. And I'm going to do my double crochet stitch here. So can you see that? So I noticed that it helps me to keep the edges straight. So what I'm going to do is grab this again, put it in through the next, that's the top stitch, the hole before the top of the stitch, and then I just yarn over and continue the work. So can you see? So doing it like this always keeps the sides straight. You're going to see it as I go on. So I'll just go ahead and continue. So guys, I've gotten to this part of my crochet turban journey, and this is what I have. So you can see that the sides of this part is sort of straight. It is not looking bumpy or zigzaggy or whatever you may choose to call it. You can see that I have like a slight curve here, and this is because I made a tight chain at the beginning. But other than that, can you see how it looks? So I've gotten to this point where I want to do my last stitch before I move up to the next row. So I want to, explain that to you guys again. Now I have like a stitch here, and then what I have here is a hole before the yarn at this side. So I'm going to be inserting my crochet hook in between this stitch, and this yarn here. So there is a hole in between. So that is what I do whenever I'm trying to do the last stitch before I move up to the next row. And this is what is making my crocheting appear very straight, especially at the edges. So you can see what I have here. So what I'm going to do now is continue with my double crochet stitch. I'm going to grab this yarn, insert the hook through that space that I just explained to us earlier. I'm just going to insert it like this. Can you see? So I inserted it like this. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull it through that hole. I have 3 loops right here. Can you see that? And then I'm going to grab my yarn, pull it through the first 2 loops like this. Can you see? I pull it to the first two loops, leaving me with 2 loops, and then I'm going to pull the yarn through this last 2 loops, and this is what I have. So I'm going to continue my stitch now. What I'm going to do to continue that stitch is to grab my yarn. I will insert it into the hole at the top stitch, area beside my hook. So I don't know if you can see that. Let me spread this out so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to grab this yarn, insert it through the hole just under the top stitch, not this one here, this one right here. The hole is just under the top stitch. It is smaller than the one I have here. So I don't know if you can see that. So I'll just insert it through the hole just under the top stitch. I'll just go ahead and do that. Yarn over. I have 3 stitches right here. Can you see that? So I have 3 stitches now. And then what I'm going to do is grab this yarn, pull it through 2 loops. This is the first loop. I'll pull it through the second loop like this. It is leaving me with 2 loops. Then I'll grab my yarn again and pull it through these 2 loops like so, and this is what I have. So can you see, this is what I have. You can see that I made this stitch just at the hole below the top stitch. So I'm just going to continue to do my double crochet stitch till I get to the desired length for my turban. So I'll just go ahead and continue to do my double crochet stitch. So I'm all done. I've gotten to the length that I want to get to, and because this I want this turban to cover my ear when I wear it, I went with the circumference of my head minus 1 inch. So for me, the circumference of my head is 23 inches, sorry. It's 23 inches, and minus 1, that is 22. So I have here about 22 inches. So this is what I have. So now I want to go ahead and make this rectangle that we have crocheted into a turban. So what I'm going to do, let me just put this here so this doesn't come off. What I'm going to do is cut a bit of the yarn. Can you see from this point here? I'm going to cut like a string, which we'll use to stitch this piece that we have crocheted together. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So you want to make yours really long so you don't end up something that is too short. So I'll just go ahead, cut this, and yeah, this is what I have. So what I'm going to do next is to pull out the yarn like this, since we are done. So I pulled it out. Can you see that? What I'm going to do now is to thread my needle, or with the yarn my needle. So I'm going to be using this gigantic needle that you can see. It's a very big needle, but it's sort of like sharp at the edge. The type of needle you will need is called a tapestry needle. What I have here is not a tapestry needle. A tapestry needle has a very, very large eye and a blunt tip. Do you understand? So you don't pierce in between your yarn, so that the needle doesn't go in between the yarn and separate it. So that's it for needles, but since I don't have that, we'll make do with this. Since this thread cannot pass through this needle, this is what I do. I have a piece of just normal sewing thread here. I'll just go ahead and thread the needle. So I'll just go ahead and thread the needle. Can you see, till I have like this loop on this side. So I want to pass this yarn through it, but I'm going to start with one first because both cannot pass through it at once. So can you see what I'm doing? So I hold it like this, and then I pull this thread, this sewing thread. I'm going to pull the yarn through. Can you see that? So that's what I did, and then I'll repeat the same thing again. Pass the sewing thread through the eye of the needle, place my yarn through the loop of the sewing thread, and then what I'm going to do is pull the yarn through. So once that is done, we can go ahead and stitch this. So I'll just get rid of the sewing thread, and this is what I have. So can you see that? So I just want to hide this yarn that we have here, this part that is outside when we first started. So I just want to hide that. So at this point, I can trim the rest off. So I want to show you where the magic is when creating your turban. We have these two ends here, right? Can you see that? So we have the first one right here. Let me just stretch that out a bit. And then I have, this other end right here. What I'm going to do now is fold the both of them. Can you see? Into two like this. Can you see that? So I'm going to fold this part like this, So I'll leave it so you guys can see what I'm doing. And then I fold this other end like this. Can you see that? So this is what I have. This is how it is going to look folded. Now, once both of them are folded, what I'm going to do is open two of them up. Can you see what I'm doing? So I open two of them up, and this part here, I placed it in between this one, just this first half. I placed it in between like so. Can you see? So the first half like this. Can you see what I'm doing? And then it's going to come like this. Did you understand what I just did? So let me just open it up. So I fold the two edges like this. Can you see? And then I'm going to open them up. This part here at the bottom, this side, I will put it in between this one here, and then the other end will go on top of it. So we are going to end up with something like this. So once it is all arranged, what I'm going to do is start stitching. So guys, I'm going to be stitching with the bottom of this because this part is quite sharp. So I'll be stitching this first two, this one and this one. I'll be stitching it together first. So I just take the bottom of the needle, pass it through the edge of both of them. So can you see what I'm doing? So I'll just go ahead. Can you see? And then I'll just keep going over this first two that I'm working on. We still have this last two to work with. So I'll just keep going over them through the top stitch. So I can decide, because I want it, if I want it very tight there, I'll just, after bringing this out, I'll just go ahead and pass it through the loop and make my stitch. So I'm just going to continue to do that through the top of the stitch, loop it through and tighten it. So this gives me a better grip on the yarn. So I'll just repeat the same process, loop it, and then make my stitch. So I hope you guys understand what I'm doing here. When I get to this point now, I've stitched the first two. I'm going to grab the third one now, and we're going to be stitching it, the third one, we're going to be stitching it to the first two that we just stitched. So right here, this is what I have. I'll pass it through the bottom of the third one. Can you see what I'm doing? Loop it and tighten my stitch. Pass it through the top of this first two that we have stitched through to the third one. Loop it and stitch. So I'm going to repeat the same thing. Pass it through the first two and the third one. Loop it and stitch. So guys, when I get to this last one now, I'll now do everything together. So I'll repeat the same thing that I did, but I'll be passing it now through everything. So pass it through, loop and stitch, pass it through the top, loop and stitch, pass it through the top, loop and stitch. So I'm just going to do some right here just to tighten this part up a bit. Do you understand? So I'll just go like a couple of times at this point just to tighten things up. I'm all done right here, so I want to tighten here up. Very, very important. So can you see what I'm doing? So what I'm going to do now is just go like this, come like this, just to tighten it up a bit. Come right here again, and then now I can, make something really tight here. So I'll just go ahead and tie that, and just cut that out. So this is what we have after we finish stitching. Can you see that we still have this here? This is what we have after stitching. So the moment of truth has come. So what I'm going to do now is to turn it to the right side so you see the turban effect. So I'll just go ahead and turn it like this so you guys can see. So can you see that? So this is what we have right here. This is how the front is going to look. Let me show you like this. So can you see? I think I should put kind of like a white paper under this so you guys can sort of appreciate the turban look. Just put a white paper underneath so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is what I have. We have created our own crochet turban. So I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. If you have any advice for us on this crochet tutorial or how we can make our crochet tutorials much better for you, please let us know in the comment section. I'll be very, very grateful to hear your thoughts. So I hope you have gone to make yours, or I hope you are ready to make yours now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next crochet video. Bye.